The Unescapable Rock. Welcome to Alcatraz, the prison built to break the human soul. In 1962, this wasn't just a jail, it was a fortress of psychological warfare sitting in the middle of the freezing San Francisco Bay. It housed America's most dangerous criminals, including Al Capone, in a facility designed to be absolutely inescapable. The freezing, deadly currents, the circling sharks, and the armed guards in the towers made it the ultimate cage. For 29 years, 36 men tried to escape the rock. Most were caught immediately, some were shot dead, and the rest drowned. No one had ever successfully vanished, until 3 brilliant inmates decided to do the impossible. The Masterminds, Frank Morris and the Anglin Brothers, weren't just career criminals, they were master engineers with genius-level IQs. They knew they couldn't fight their way out past the armed guards, so they decided to dig their way to freedom. For months, they worked in total secrecy right under the guards' noses. They stole metal spoons from the cafeteria and sharpened them against the concrete floor to create makeshift chisels. Every single night, between 5:30 p.m. and 9 p.m., while one of them played the accordion loudly to mask the scratching noise, the others chipped away at the salt-corroded ventilation grates at the back of their cells, hiding the holes with painted cardboard. The decoys, but digging holes was only half the battle. The guards walked the cell block every single hour to count the prisoners. If a bed was empty, the alarm would sound instantly. So, the men built the smartest decoys in criminal history. Using a mixture of soap, toilet paper, and real human hair they swept up from the prison barbershop floor, they sculpted realistic fake human heads. They even painted them with flesh-tone paint from the art kit. On the night of the escape, they carefully tucked these heads into their pillows and arranged the blankets to look like sleeping bodies. When the guards walked by in the dim light, they saw sleeping men and moved on. The escape, on the night of June 11, 1962, the plan went into motion. The men squeezed through the narrow holes in their walls and entered the dark utility corridor behind the cells. They climbed up the plumbing pipes for 30 feet, forced open a ventilator at the top, and finally reached the roof under the night sky. They avoided the sweeping searchlights and made their way down to the water's edge in total darkness. But they didn't swim. They had built a 6-by-14-foot raft using over 50 stolen raincoats glued together with industrial cement. They inflated it with a modified musical instrument, stepped into the dark, freezing water, and pushed off into the thick fog, never to be seen again. The manhunt. The next morning, the guards tried to wake the prisoners for roll call, only to watch the fake heads roll onto the floor. The alarm triggered the biggest manhunt in American history. The FBI, the Coast Guard, and local police searched every inch of the bay, the land, and the ocean for weeks. They found a paddle and a wallet wrapped in plastic floating in the water, but no bodies were ever recovered. The FBI officially closed the case 17 years later, stating that the men must have drowned in the rough, freezing currents. But their families never received bodies, and they claimed to receive flowers every Mother's Day for years. The letter, the glitch. For 50 years, the case remained a cold mystery. Then, in 2013, the San Francisco police received a shocking handwritten letter that changed everything. It read, "My name is John Anglin. I escaped from Alcatraz in June 1962 with my brother and Frank Morris. I'm 83 years old and in bad shape. I have cancer. Yes, we all made it that night, but barely." The letter offered a deal: 1 year in prison in exchange for medical treatment. The FBI analyzed the handwriting for weeks, but the results were inconclusive. If the letter is real, these men committed the perfect crime. Are they still out there watching us?